What's up YouTube? My name's David. And today I am wearing one of my favorite shirts. This is a Barney Fife all over print. And as you can see, it has Barney Fife all over it. So that's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of vintage t-shirts and sweaters and sweatshirts that have movies and TV shows on them that I watched as a kid and still watch currently. So just thought I'd throw that out there. Anyways, in today's video, I am going to show you all 6 different polyphonic vocal singing and beatboxing techniques that I've learned over the years. Some of these techniques I would consider genuine polyphonic techniques, whereas you're creating more than one fundamental pitch at the same time using just your voice or things in this general region. However, some of these techniques are not necessarily genuine polyphonic techniques. However, they do give the honest impression that you are creating more than one note at the same time. Before things really get started, I would like to give a big thank you to all of you that have subscribed and given me positive comments on all of my videos. I really appreciate it. You're the true reason that I'm making these videos, because without an audience that cares about what I'm doing, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So thank you all for the love, and I hope you're all staying safe and finding a way to stay sane and happy at home for now. I'll try my best to keep videos updated and to keep you entertained. Also, make sure to stay for the whole video, because I reveal a new technique at the end of this video that I don't think anyone's done before or shown before really. So please check it out and probably tell me all about how you've done this for the past 5 years, or you know some beatboxer or somebody that's done it. So yeah, I hope you like this video. Sit tight and enjoy. If you've been on my YouTube channel for any period of time, you're going to recognize this technique. This is the subharmonic technique. We might as well just get it out of the way first. I've explained this many times before, but as we know it right now, the common consensus is that the subharmonic technique uses the vocal folds in an asymmetrical vibration, meaning that they're vibrating at different rates at the same time, and this collision of 2 different pitches vibrating at the same time next to each other creates a resultant pitch. There are levels to subharmonics, just like there are levels to overtones, but in a different fashion and in a different order. Although this technique gives the impression that you are singing more than one note at the same time, at the very best you're just amplifying different harmonics that are being created by your voice. But don't let that fool you. It's honestly a very impressive and convincing technique when done properly. You can find many examples of it on the internet now. To find our subharmonic voice or get into the subharmonic register, you need to basically watch my previous videos on the technique, because they are much better than what this tutorial is going to give you. But anyways, here's a brief synopsis. You need to find a pitch that is about a fifth above your lowest chest voice note and sing it with good air support. Oh. At the same time, you're going to continue the air, but allow your voice to relax in a certain way, tending towards vocal fry. You're going to end up with something that sounds a bit like this. Oh. It's going to be crackling in and out, and after 5 to 6 years of practice, you'll end up with something that's like this. Oh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 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 Whoa, whoa. The subharmonic technique is getting more popular and widely known all the time. However, this next technique has been known about and very popular for decades and probably centuries now. This is the overtone singing technique. Just like the subharmonic technique, this is not a true, genuine polyphonic technique, because we're only amplifying an overtone that is already being produced by our voice while we're singing any pitch, really. If you were discouraged by the subharmonic technique and not able to do it right away, this one might cheer you up a bit. This is a pretty easy technique to do. Don't get me wrong, it's hard to be a master at. However, I can get you started right away. The key to this technique is your tongue. To create those mystical sounding high overtones that you hear some singers do, we need to utilize our tongue to change the shape of our mouth. What we're doing is accommodating certain pitches by creating a chamber in our mouth that has a certain resonant frequency. A resonant frequency is the frequency or pitch at which a certain space or chamber or cavity likes to resonate at and amplifies sounds better at. So if we can shape our mouth into something that has the resonant frequency of a certain overtone, which is pretty easily accomplished, then we can amplify these overtones on command. Let's try that. The first thing you need to do is pick any pitch that's comfortable for you. Let's sing this pitch on an oo vowel. Ooh. As you're singing that oo vowel, you're going to want to lift your tongue up towards the roof of your mouth. It should be pretty self-explanatory and easy to notice what's happening next, but I'll demonstrate here. Ooh. Try to stay consistent with that fundamental pitch and only move your tongue to change the overtone that you're singing. So for this third technique, I'm going to show you something that is pretty exclusive to the beatboxing community. This technique, for lack of a shorter, more colloquial term, is a lip buzz plus vocals, or a vocalized lip buzz. To perform the vocalized lip buzz, I have one suggestion for your lip buzz specifically. Now, there are a few different types of lip buzzes that I'm sure beatboxers are already familiar with, and I'm growing more familiar with all the time. One of them is a bit sloppier. It has more collision with the lips, something a bit like this. That lip buzz utilizes a more closed off lip shape, and your lips are kind of slapping together instead of vibrating with the air. The lip buzz that I'm going to use for this technique, however, uses more air and has your lips sitting a little bit further apart in a different configuration, like this. So for this vocalized lip buzz technique, you can either start with a sung pitch or you can start with your lip buzz. It doesn't matter. Either way, you're going to get the same effect. Sounds something like this. This next technique is one that I think many people have tried and experimented with on their own, but never taken too seriously. However, after I give a feeble attempt at it, I am going to show you an incredible clip of somebody doing singing while whistling. We're going to try to pick some whistled pitches that are harmonious with the pitch that we're singing to make this sound good, because if you're singing, you want to sound good, so. Alright, so I'm trash at this technique. Obviously, let's just skip to the video of this guy doing this crazy routine with whistling and singing at the same time. Yeah. Okay, so this next technique I can attribute to me trying to learn more beatboxing techniques, and I believe I came up with this one on my own because it's similar to a technique that I tried learning in a certain video, but it's different from what I've heard described. Let me explain. In one of my beatboxing react videos, I saw a beatboxer named 2H do this polyphonic technique in his upper register that sounded so crazy, and I tried to learn how to do it on the spot, couldn't do it. There's another famous beatboxing technique that is a polyphonic technique called the Starsky Bass that Alexino taught in another video that I watched, and I couldn't do it. But I tried, and I kept playing with it, and over the past few weeks, I kind of gave up on it. However, I accidentally stumbled on something else that has a similar sound, but I believe it's different. I'm going to call this a polyphonic chest bass, and here's why. For the Starsky bass that Alexino taught and 2H's polyphonic vocal technique, they're both being described as vocalized techniques, so they're using their vocal folds to create at least one of the pitches in that cluster. The technique that I'm going to show you doesn't use vocal folds at all. You're only using your false folds to start off, which is what you're using when you're doing chest bass. However, I think the vibration of your false folds in this constricted manner that I'm doing also vibrates your uvula or your soft palate or something else. It is a secondary pitch that can slide around and be an infinite number of pitches, so it's not locked to your false folds at all. It's very strange. I've only been doing it for about 4 or 5 days, but the first couple days were kind of rough and they hurt a little bit, but I heard that second pitch there. I'm like, man, I should follow this up and try to do something with it. So I'll do my best to walk you through this. So the first thing you need to know how to do is to activate chest bass using your false folds. So something like a cough, like this. Take that cough and remove the glottal from the beginning, that sharp hit, and just push air through that area in your voice. You'll notice that that chest bass pitch kind of vibrates somewhere down here. Now what we're doing is going to be a bit further up here. So keep that chest bass feeling in mind of how to activate your false folds. Next, to find the placement for this technique, we're going to do something a bit different. There's a certain funny voice that you hear sometimes that sounds like this.
It's a very tight place in your voice that sounds like this. It's a very tight technique.
So you're going to take that placement, remove the vocalization, so the vocal fold part of it. You're not going to be speaking with the vocal folds anymore, and replace it with the chest bass sound. This is a very advanced technique. I have a hard time doing it. The progression of it sounds something like this. Almost like an exhaled pant, like you're being strangled or something like that. Generally, I have a great idea of what is going on in my throat during certain techniques, but this one is kind of a mystery to me still. I hope some of you have some more insight on this one, since I'm pretty sure there are two distinct pitches coming from two different places at the same time. I'm going to call this a genuine polyphonic technique, which brings us to this last technique, which is that plus a step further, which I think is actually a modified Starsky Bass. I will let the beatboxing experts decide that in the comments, but from what I learned from Alexino's video and many comments from helpful beatboxers and messages on Instagram, the Starsky Bass is actually not false folds plus your vocal folds. It's actually a vocalized uvula soft palate vibration, and that sounds really painful, and I really can't do it like that. However, what I just showed in my previous technique involves your soft palate and your chest bass at the same time. So the natural progression for that is vocalizing something on top of it, right? So we have the chest bass pitch, which can stay consistent, a vibrating soft palate uvula area that kind of wavers around certain pitches and doesn't really lock into anything above that, and adding a vocalized pitch on top of that. We're going to get some crazy cluster sounds, and I think it's going to make for a really cool effect. So let's see how this last technique sounds, and go ahead and name it in the comment section if you want. I don't know what to call it yet, so here we go. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Leave a comment below telling me what you want to see next, because I read your comments and I take them to heart, because I make my videos based off of what you want to see. You're my audience. I kind of have to serve you. So don't forget to follow me on Instagram as well. And yeah, thank you all for the support so far. My channel has grown a ton from beatboxers and singers joining in, and I appreciate all of you. I'm going to continue trying to put out a new video every week and keeping you updated with new creative content, which is hard to do, but it's worth it. So thank you all for watching, and until next time.